we're going to be breaking down the topic of hands-free passive real estate today.
It's really hands-on if you're, have an investment property, and then you can kind of have a hands-off approach investing in a mortgage investment fund that produces that monthly passive income. This couple, interesting kind of story. They are real estate investors, just like many of the viewers here on the channel. They actually, over time, with multiple real estate rental properties, they build up their nest egg of equity. They actually sold one of their properties. In this case, this is based on a $600,000 initial investment. They went through the process, invested in Nest Capital, and on a monthly basis, they're seeing historical monthly returns of $5,000.
What's going on YouTube? It's Rebecca Lynn Matheson here, and welcome to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. Today we've got Chris from Nest Capital joining us on the channel, so welcome to the channel, Chris.
Thank you, Rebecca. Happy to be back. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Yeah, as always, it's always good to see you and kind of talk about real estate investing with you. So we're going to be breaking down the topic of hands-free passive real estate today, and really just dive deep into some different ways that people can do that. So first, before we get into the video, if you aren't already, please make sure that you subscribe to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. And if you enjoyed today's video, smash that like button and throw some love in the comment section. So let's jump right into it, Chris. I know you've been on the channel several times now, but why don't you just give us a little introduction about who you are and what Nest Capital does?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rebecca. As a family, Canadian family, we're very passionate about real estate. We've been, landlords, still are. We've lent out money on individual mortgages. Did that for a number of years. That's called private lending, and started Nest Capital in 2017. And our focus, simply put, is we're a mortgage investment corporation. What that means is we're a investment fund, whereby investors purchase shares, and they've had a return of 10% annually since we started back in 2017. So we hear from many different investors. Some are real estate investors with multiple properties, looking for different ways to get their various accounts invested in real estate. And this is just a interesting example, especially with the current climate. People are looking at what's a way that I can generate, the monthly income that's passive, kind of hands-free approach. I'd love to showcase a little bit of that for today, for today's audience. And we do have some examples, kind of how that's done. So again, Nest Capital is a mortgage investment corporation. We manage a pool of mortgages and pay investors, and have been paying investors 10% annually.
Awesome. Well, let's start actually with that investment process itself. So can you break that down and kind of talk a little bit about how that actually works in application?
When someone's looking to invest, they typically reach out to Nest Capital, maybe through our website. There's lots of great content there, updates on the fund, kind of get familiar with it. And then from there, we answer any questions that they have. And then we would connect them with a registered exempt market dealer. Basically, their role, they're a licensed entity that makes sure that they're doing all the correct investor onboarding, all the subscription agreements, all that stuff. So every investor goes through that. We make that introduction, and they can invest in a variety of accounts. And maybe they want to do it through their business. Maybe they're looking at, cash investments, or even tax-free, or even through RRSP. So lots of different options there, and all that's talked about on the introductory calls, as well as calls with our registered dealer.
How much does somebody typically need to actually get started with you guys, or how much do they actually need to invest?
Yeah, the average investor of Nest Capital, we have over 340 individual investors. We're heavily invested ourselves as founders in the fund. So the average investment is close to $100,000. But we've made it accessible for all Canadians in the sense that the minimum investment is $1,000. So if people are just starting out and you're looking to build that nest egg, if you will, the minimum investment's 1,000. You can kind of build up beyond that, but lots of different options, so long as they're approved by our registered dealer.
Got it. Now, this is obviously a different way to invest that not every real estate investor necessarily has thought about or maybe considered. So is there a certain amount of time that your money is locked in for, or how long do you actually have to keep the money in the fund?
Yeah, excellent question. So typically there are redemption fees in year 1 and 2. We do ask for a bit of notice if you're looking to redeem, 8 to 60 days notice. In year 1, you can redeem. There's a 5% redemption fee. In year 2, that drops down to 1%. And then after year 2, it goes down to 0. So a lot of investors are kind of looking at mid to long term investing, and their needs are different. Some are looking for kind of that passive monthly income. Some are having it reinvested so that they're kind of building a nest egg for future life. So we do have some examples that I'd like to queue up here on the screen.
Sure.
And one of the topics, or one of the examples on hands-free passive real estate income is an interesting couple investing story that we've been happy to have them as investors for a number of years now. And they are historically earning a monthly interest income of around $5,000 a month, and that it translates to roughly $60,000 a year. So that's based on our annual return of 10%. So we've consistently provided our investors with that annual return. It's paid out monthly. So this couple, interesting kind of story. They are real estate investors, just like many of the viewers here on the channel. They're kind of getting looking at different options that kind of allow them to do a bit of a hands-free approach to investing. So they actually, over time, with multiple real estate rental properties, they build up their nest egg of equity. They actually sold one of their properties. In this case, this is based on a $600,000 initial investment. They went through the process, invested in Nest Capital, and on a monthly basis, they're seeing historical monthly returns of $5,000. So there is a way to do that, and a lot of people are kind of looking for that transition. In different examples, it's really hands-on if you're have an investment property, and then you can kind of have a hands-off approach investing in a mortgage investment fund that produces that monthly passive income. So that's an interesting example of kind of how you can use equity when you sell a home and invest it in a different way. We also do have an example kind of breakdown of what it would look like for different investment dollar amounts. So working kind of top to bottom here, 100,000, 10% historical return is $10,000 a year. Monthly, you're looking about roughly 833. And then for those that are maybe they're dipping their toe in, this is their first initial investment with Nest Capital. You have some different numbers here from 50, 25, and 10,000. So there is a way to do that, and we would welcome those that are interested in how they can earn monthly passive income. It really is just as simple as learning a bit more about Nest Capital, giving us a call, finding our details in the description of this video.
Got it. Now, we're just coming out of tax season here in Canada, so this is on a lot of investors' minds, but how does it actually work with taxes? So a lot of investors understand how like an income generating property is taxed on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, but how are these monthly payments actually taxed, and what's the net take home?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of different options here for investors. So if you're looking to invest in a cash account, so just money that you have, not in a registered plan such as a tax-free savings account or RRSP. So if it's just a cash investment, the monthly interest that you're getting is treated as interest income. So you would get a T5 statement at the end of the year. So you can supply that to your accountant or whoever is doing your taxes. So it is treated as interest income. Now, if you do have room available in, say, a tax-free savings account, or you have contribution room in an RRSP, that option is available to people as well. So you can earn your monthly interest tax-free in a tax-free savings account, or you can have it tax deferred in an RRSP. So some different options are available there.
And what location can people invest from? So the topic of today obviously is hands-free passive real estate. So can people do this from all provinces, or what are the boundaries here in terms of location?
Sure, absolutely. So it's dependent on what provinces our registered dealer is licensed to basically bring in investors from those areas. So mainly, we have a lot of investors from Ontario, which is where we're based. Our mortgages are Ontario real estate, our Ontario residential mortgages, but we do accept investors not only from Ontario, Alberta as well, British Columbia, and even New Brunswick. So if you do have questions of any provinces outside of that, still feel free to reach out, because there might be some potential options available to you, depending on kind of some questions that are uncovered with our registered dealer.
Now you have a breakdown here of the monthly payments. What is the typical frequency of investment? So do people invest monthly, annually, or how does that kind of breakdown look?
Yeah, good question. Typically, we see investors do, an annual investment. The reason for that typically is if you're doing it through a tax-free savings account, the trust companies charge a share purchase fee per occurrence. So, for example, if people are topping up their tax-free savings account, they're doing that once a year. Or if it's a cash investment, those fees aren't there. So some people do it kind of more maybe quarterly. We do bring investors money in the first 10 days of every month. So, if you miss one window, we have one just right around the corner. So that's kind of what you would see in terms of investors and their frequency.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thanks for breaking that down. Now, this topic, hands-free passive real estate, specifically investing in mix, I think is a really interesting topic to cover, given just what's happening in the market and people looking for alternative strategies of investing. So thanks for breaking this down. And Chris, where is the best place for people to actually find you?
Absolutely. Check out the description below. You'll see some contact details there. Our website is updated monthly, as well as an opportunity to even book a call. Happy to hear from you and answer questions that you have on Nest Capital. Thank you again, Rebecca.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode here on the Canadian Real Estate Channel. Make sure you check out Chris from Nest Capital. Links are just in the description down below. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe to the Canadian Real Estate Channel, as well as smash that like button and throw us some love in the comments section. If you're interested in investing in a MIC or just have more questions, make sure you reach out to Chris so that he can answer any and all questions that you may have about investing with Nest Capital. Thanks again for tuning in today, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.